the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski dives onto the right side, very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys, Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Nuno Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will clip the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernot. Gernot will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Motorsport is a track known for requiring bravery from the drivers with its fast corners and limited runoff. The Lotus 79 is a car known for requiring bravery due to the dedication and trust needed in the car's downforce in order to be fast. Some mad person said, why don't we put these two together? And here we stand today. This Canadian circuit and this British race car will be the chocolate mixed with the peanut butter, but will it deliver a tasty treat or an unwanted surprise? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 5 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Richie, the official name of this place is Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It's kind of amazing to me that the name changed before the layout did.
Yeah, here we are. Thanks, Joe, at Motorsport, as I still call it, but Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It's located in Bowmanville, just east of Toronto in Canada. First race was 1961, I believe, and it's pretty much never changed. I have raced here a few times in my Toyota Atlantic days, and for me, it's one of the few real drivers' tracks left in North America, meaning it's very fast, you have to be brave, and it's very dangerous. It's a fairly short lap. It's only 2.4 miles, 3.9 kilometers long, only 10 turns, but it's, like I said, it's very fast. There are a couple of key passing spots, which we'll get into in a little bit, but probably the best way for folks to see what it's like is to jump on board that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Motorsport. Coming down to turn 1, you can tell right away that this track is both bumpy and fast. Be careful not to get too wide at the exit or else you'll spin the car across the track and smack the wall. Then comes Clayton, which will offer very little chance to react if something goes wrong ahead of you. You're absolutely flying through this blind bend, so running in traffic will be nerve-wracking. After that, you hit Quebec, which really opens up on the exit, so getting to the right line and getting to the power as soon as you can will be critical through here. Keep it flat to the floor down through turn 4, but hold the car to the left and try to keep her steady over the bumpy braking zone. Throttle control coming out of Moss will be make or break. It dumps you onto the long Andretti straight, so drivers that know the limit of traction will be finding those extra few tenths. And that's incredibly difficult in a car with this much horsepower coming out of a turn that slow. Climbing back uphill, expect the draft to play a part in the racing with the big hole this car punches in the air. Once you come to the last crest, stay to the left and swing it into the S's. Passes will be possible around the outside, so watch for drivers to try and hold on and then claim the apex for turn 9. Be wary of the inside curb around White's corner, and as you bring it to the line, we've now finished a lap around Motorsport.
You see how quick the laps are around here in these cars. As Richie mentioned, it's not too long of a lap, but we've got a little bit of time under our belts in the championship. So we've got the driver points, and well, Gernot Frisch is still up on top, about 137 points over Steve Bycroft, continuing to show incredible force this season. Bycroft and Unhola in a nice little battle. They've jumped up 2 spots over Matt Wood, who unfortunately was not able to get himself in last week and get himself up the points. Alex Millward as well jumps on the top 5 and is in a close fight there with Wood. What about the Teams Championship, Richie? How are we looking over there?
Well, it is called the Classic Team Championship for a reason, and so here are the team standings. Leading is Team Williams, Saudi Racing Team Williams with 109 points. Not too far behind them at 13 points back is Marble Team McLaren with Barry West and Alex Millward on that team. And right behind them is also Martini Racing Team Lotus. So it's very close. And also with Equipe Renault Elf, 19 points back. And even the top 5, only 23 points back with Scuderia Ferrari. That's kind of an interesting series to run. They do have 2 drops, so that'll play into how we get through this season. But we'll keep an eye on that.
Absolutely. And speaking of those drops, let's look at the details of this race. There you see those team drops. The drivers also get 4 since they use the official points. You can see there at the bottom. The setups on the car are open, which will be important at a fast track like this. They also have 38 laps out there today. And actually, let me double check that. Yes, 38 laps that we will be running. So they're going to be rifling them off very, very fast. They also have an incident cap. You can be disqualified if you go over that incident cap, but based on the mistakes we are seeing in the warm-up and just the nature of this track, Richie, I have a feeling that drivers will be visiting the pits before they find their car disappearing.
Yeah, as you can see on screen, there's not much runoff. So it's just pavement, grass, and guardrails. So I think if you do drop a wheel, you're probably going to end your day and not worry about that incident cap too much.
Peter Konieczny up on the pole on his 2nd lap. We got some fast drivers out there today. Steve Bycroft sets a faster lap, but it is not... Oh, no, it does give him the pole. 0.2 faster, and he is up to the top. So where is Nora Lompy? He's yet to set a time. We're on board with him right now, heading into turn 8. He tends to be one that could take the top spot away. So the Preacher weaves us through the final corners. We do not have Gernot Friesch here today, so this is an open goal for the Finn as he crosses the line, a 1:07.6. That is not fast enough, not even for the front row, but he's going to get another try, Richie.
Yeah, he'll get one more lap in, and even where he's at, he's sitting 4th at the minute. Matt Wood is here, so that's good to see. But Nora Lompy has had some good races lately. Started from the front row. The race didn't go as planned usually, so maybe starting on the 2nd row might be just better luck for him. But we'll see as he comes around to finish it.
This is Glenn Corrigan down in 22nd, the Aussie driver. Let's see what he's got underneath him for his 2nd lap. A 109 flat is going to be good enough to jump him up 2 spots into P20. How important is qualifying here, though, Richie? Is passing kind of at a premium?
Passing is going to be tough, I believe. A lot of sweeping corners, especially the first part of the lap. We have, one true passing zone really at the end of the back straightaway, but you got to get a good run at a Moss corner, which is 5A and 5B. It's the slowest point of the track. I think I think if you can get in front, you can disturb the air enough on the guys behind you to keep them from passing you. So the start's going to be tricky too. So because it's a very short run to turn 1 and it goes straight downhill. So that's going to be something to watch.
And on screen, you saw Nora Lompy took the fastest lap. He is back on pole ahead of Steve Bycroft. I can report that this has been a bit of a bad day for Unhola. He seems to be struggling at this circuit compared to what we've seen in previous rounds where he was fighting for wins and podiums. The number 4 car is currently down in 10th, and he set both of his times. Unfortunately, the 2nd lap did not count. So this is as good as he is going to see for the starting grid. With about a minute left and as fast as these laps are, I see nobody else able to complete a lap except Sergio Morales. He's the last one on course to be able to get one in. He's coming around Moss Corner right now and up that backstretch Richie was just talking about. The long winding run up to turn 8 into the S's.
Yeah, what's key about that part is that it is very, very steep. You don't really get a view of that on the camera, but it's a very steep run uphill. So getting a run out of 5B is going to be key, whether you can make that pass into turn 8.
1:11.0 is the fastest we've seen from Sergio. A little bit off the pace. No split today, so lap traffic as well could potentially be an issue out here. Sergio taking that second time, unfortunately not going to count, so that is going to set our grid for today, it looks like. Let's give you our starting order on the pole. Juha Norlampi, as we mentioned, 2/10 over Steve Bycroft's flanking him on that front row. Matt Wood, who would like to probably gain back up in the points, is going to be starting third, with Peter Konieczny starting fourth. Sergio Fernandez with a pretty good qualifying, P5 for him. Nicola Cocci returns once again. He'll be starting sixth. Row 4 starts with Adam Frazier to the inside with John Stevens in eighth. Rodrigo Capoleto will be ninth, and then rounding out our top 10, Richie, will be Tommy Unhola.
Row 6 is going to be Dustin Herriter, and right next to him in 12th will be Timothy Reed. Row behind them in 13th will be John Atkinson Jr. and Robert Plumley. Starting 15th will be Steve Sarlis, and 16th will be Pablo Lumbreras Suarez. 17th is going to be Barry West, and 18th will be Tony Teolis. 19th is going to be Daniel Banker, and starting 20th will be Glenn Corrigan.
21st is Robert Simpkins, Adnan Dizdarevich in 22nd. John Beatty Jr. starts 23rd with Francisco Gutierrez 24th. Todd Herner starts P25, David Burgess 26th, Sergio Morales 27th, and David Rierick 28th. Everybody managed to get times in out here, which is good news. But as we said, a lot of cars and a lot of spread in those lap times from 2:07s to 2:11s. And with just over a minute, that 5-second lap time and a big field, I have a feeling that within 10 laps, maybe even, we could see the leaders catching the tail. You can see the entire grid now finding their way out onto the front stretch. Unfortunately, with enough cars, we have them heading around White's corner, so a few of them going to have to be light on the throttle pedal, having that steering wheel turned to the side. Just waiting for Tommy Unhola to take his car out, then we're good to go here for those 38 laps in round 5 of the Lotus 79 Classic Teams Championship. Engines start to rev, the lights are up. Green flag is out here for round 5. Juha Norlampi gets himself a very good start over Bycroft, already pulling a gap down towards turn 1. How is everybody going to get through this first set of corners, though? Clayton tends to see some trouble, especially as cars try to sort themselves out. They plunge down the hill, Richie, and I'm already seeing cars off in the grass.
Yeah, we saw Adam Frazier and a couple others go off at turn 2, and that's where they have added the new pavement in the current track. And once it just slides downhill, and those guys are just off the track into the fence. Great day over.
4 of them, in fact, went off. Only 1 of them avoided hitting the barrier. We'll get back to that later. They're already into Moss. Still drivers fighting wheel to wheel. Unhola, one of them, up into 7th already at the start. He overtook John Stevens through Moss Corner. And now they climb up the backstretch.
And we got Nicola Cocci trying to make a move on Sergio Fernandez. He's going to go around the outside into turn 8. Looks like he's going to have that pass done. Oh, and Sergio hits Nicola, and fortunately Nicola is going to be able to keep going, but damage on both cars.
Oh, and Unhola also heading in. I'm not sure what's going on there. Didn't see him touch anybody. He certainly got a lightning start. So after 1 lap, Norlampi still your leader. Bycroft retains 2nd. Matt Wood in 3rd. Konieczny finds himself in 4th, where he started as well. Top 5 rounded out by Sergio Fernandez.
Yeah, top 5 are all kind of separated out single file, but we did see it get a little messy back there into turn 8 with Sergio and Nicola Cocci. Both are continuing, but there is some damage on Fernandez's wing. So we'll see how that affects them as they come up the straightaway one more time.
Already you can see our leaders and whatnot coming up the Mario Andretti straight. Watching one of those McLarens work their way towards turn 7. Coachy trying to chase John Stevens, his teammate. A little bit of damage visible on Coachy. Riding on board with the Iberian, looking back. Behind them, don't forget Hiroder.
Oh, Suarez off the track in turn 8. Tried to make a move on Tony Teolis and just went wide and off the grass once again. Once you're in the grass, you're out of control. So here's the replay of it. He's going to try to make that move on the outside and just gets out in the marbles, and there he goes. There's no saving that, and that's the end of the day for Pablo.
All 4 wheels into the air when he hit the bump of the grass. He did have that little bit of pavement, but it wasn't enough to save him. This is our leader one more time. Now extending the gap to about 1.5 seconds. Got more cars coming in. Daryl Warwick looks like he is come into the pits to get some repairs made. Already attrition playing a heavy role out there. We've barely completed 3 laps so far.
Yeah, I think once we settle down and kind of filter it out, the race will take on a life of its own, and it'll just kind of smooth out. We do have a pass with John Stevens and looks like his teammate Nicola Coachy going around him.
Yep, manages to get that done through 8. Still Hiroder just haunting both of these drivers. Sitting back there, P8. Norlampi up top, you can see setting the fastest lap one more time. He's extended the gap to about 1.7 over second place. Mostly single file racing now. I think we have calmed down like Richie was talking about. Looking through the field. Wonder if we still have a replay of that first lap heading through Clayton, if we could see the 4 cars that went off.
I was watching that, and it looked like Frazier was the first one to lead that group of 4 off the track, and he just got a little bit wide, as you're going to see coming up. This is a blind corner. I know in the Atlantic's car, it was flat out 4th gear, and you can see him just get a little wide, and then those other guys just kind of just followed him off into the distance.
My goodness, it's a parade off into there. Wow, if flat out, because I've seen a few cars here on iRacing that you have to be flat out, but it's a lot different from the sim to real life. How many laps did it take you to keep your foot in it all the way through that corner?
No, probably didn't take that much. I was pretty young and dumb back then, so I just kind of just sent it all the time. But I never won there. I finished 2nd and 3rd a couple times, but it was just an awesome track to drive once that car. With the Atlantic car, it was a lot like this, where it had a lot of had big tunnels underneath, so you had a lot of grip, and you just had to just kind of brave it out. It's really fun when it's right.
We're watching from onboard Kneski. There you see him and the green machine chasing Matt Wood just up ahead of him, trying to get onto the podium. Certainly a lot closer to Wood than Wood is to Bycroft. They're climbing up the Andretti straight one more time, but I'm not sure that there's quite enough here for him to close in. We were talking a little bit about that draft before the race and the effect that it has up this long stretch.
Yeah, it's a long straightaway, but it is you come onto it so slow that it just takes a while for that draft to build. So it really comes down to that run at a 5B, whether you're going to get the draft or not. And kind of keeping an eye on Sergio Fernandez and Nicola Coachy. They had an incident on that first lap. I'm sure Nicola wants to repay him by making that pass complete. And he's kind of slowly getting there a little bit faster, a couple tenths faster a lap. So we'll kind of keep an eye on it as we get through this race.
Yeah, an Italian and an Iberian. I'm sure this is going to be interesting when Nicola gets back up to him. You can see the McLaren still has about 2.5 seconds to run him down, so he's got a ways to go, but he's got a lot of laps to do it as they hit the brakes down through 4 into Moss Corner. Trying to stay off those curves on the inside, get the power down and fly up the hill through the trees. Both of them looking about dead even.
I was going to say Norlampi doing a great job, just kind of running a Gurno type race, just get in front, put his head down, run clean laps. He already has a 2.5 second lead over Steve Bycroft as he goes to complete lap 6 here. Laps ticking down pretty quickly. Not much happening in the top 4 or 5.
Certainly not. Let's look back in the middle of the pack down to 14th because we got a train of cars. Robert Simpkins leading Adnan Dizdarevich and John Atkinson, both hoping to maybe see if they could get something over on him, but Robert looking a lot stronger on the front stretch. Adnan under threat from John. Hard run into the first corner. Oh, and a good run off the first corner for Adnan, but once again, hard to find a way past through these fast, swift corners.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to pass in turn 2. You can try to make a pass in turn 3 if you can go around the outside, but really just kind of have to be patient, wait for it as we go straight downhill. It's very steep. You don't get the view, really the idea how steep it is right where they're at right now. And try to get a good run off this 5B. And you got John Atkinson all over the back of Adnan as well.
Adnan looking very strong, though, and I think he is going to get a bit of that draft. Simpkins under threat, but he doesn't defend the inside. Dizdarevich already passed before they even hit the corner. That's going to give him P14. Up ahead of these drivers, worth mentioning that Robert Plumley not only had a good qualifying, putting himself in 14th, but he's made his way up to 10th. This is a lot higher than we're used to seeing for the number 16 car.
Yeah, if you want to go also, the car right above him started 17th, Barry West, and now up to 9th. So a really good start for Barry. Got through the mess and is cleanly running the top 10.
It tends to be what we see from Barry lately. Good to see him getting some good results. I think we had a drop for position for, was it Gutierrez? So he was under threat. Or no, he was actually trying to get by David Burgess. This is down in 22nd. Not exactly sure what happened. I'm going back to look. Yeah, looks like he on the front stretch was overtaken by Burgess. Don't really need a replay of that one. They work their way through turn 5. Let's see if he can get away as we jump up to P15. John Atkinson now getting by Simpkins, who continues to fall. Their way through the S's, back onto the front stretch once more, and something's happening to Morales. Morales finds himself in the barriers, but he had some help. Oh, maybe he didn't actually. He got a little bit of a touch, but look at him clip the curb here to the inside.
Oh yeah!
Wow, that went away fast.
Yeah, he hit that curb and just right into the path of the other car. So. Really his mistake.
Charles,
yep,
there's no time to react.
There's nowhere to go, and you can see him jump the curb and get out of my way. I'm moving through.
Steve, don't think he got any sort of damage from that. That puts him into P18, but he still has Timothy Reed just behind him. Also has John Beatty up ahead of him. So. Good attack, good defend. It'll all depend on how this lap goes for him. There is a little bit of damage on the front wing, I see. I'm not sure if that was due to the contact that we just witnessed.
Not much going on in the front. I do say that Nora Lampi is now only a couple of corners behind Sergio Morales. So Sergio is going to have the leader coming, and Tommy Anhola's back out there, but he's not that far ahead either, just the straightaway ahead of the leader.
And Tommy's laps are actually looking relatively comparable to the leader, so I'm not sure if he will be lapped. For whatever reason, he had to come into the pits. Maybe he didn't put race fuel in or whatever. He's got it back out there, and he's running decent pace, so he could still recover, but he hasn't gained many positions. This is Glenn Corrigan that we're looking at, 13th. Train of cars behind him. Adnan is still got himself some action. We saw him make a pass earlier. John Atkinson giving chase on that car. Up ahead of this train, don't forget Daniel Banker as well in front of Corrigan. He's running P12. They come up to White's corner, around the bend onto the front stretch, third of the way. Well, actually, I should say quarter of the way through the race at this point. plunging down through turn one more time, but Banker keeping himself at arm's length ahead of Corrigan.
Yeah, it's easily the best battle on. Oh, there was a car off the track right in front of him.
That's Morales again.
Yep. Morales, I think he had a problem with after that damage because he didn't look like he was going very fast.
Yep, he was just trying to stay out of the way, it looked like, and he touched the grass.
Yeah, it's a blind entry, so you really have to pick your spot and be correct, because once you get over the hill, wherever you are, you can't fix it.
He's still limping the car around. I hope he pulls that in. He is way, way off pace in that number 25. That train of cars that we just watched go by. They come up the front stretch now one more time. Daniel Banker up in front of Corrigan, in front of Dizderevich, in front of Atkinson. None of them really able to do much. They aren't pulling away from Simpkins very fast either. Oh, but Adnan gets a run down the front stretch, and he's going to be able to get by Corrigan.
Very nice move. Nice slide job. And got a really good run on that front straightaway. You can pass there, but that inside lane has a wall, and there's no room to make a mistake. Right behind him, it looks like Glenn Corrigan got by John Atkinson, or the other way around.
Yeah, Atkinson snuck to the inside of Clayton. Wonder if something's wrong with Corrigan. That's 2 positions lost in as many corners. And I think he's going to stop the bleeding before Simpkins gets him. To come out of 5. Maybe I spoke too soon. Oh, a lot of wheel spin for Corrigan. Here comes Robert trying to get up behind him, but he himself does not get a good exit. It doesn't look like it'll open up the opportunity.
Do have a good battle here for P8. Barry West is caught up to the back of Dustin Herder. Barry got a great run out of that last corner. Looks like he's going to try to make the pass. No, he does not. He's going to try to make a little safer move as he is right on the back of Dustin as they go over the hill into turn 2.
Such a fast corner there, that first one. I was surprised when we saw a pass into there a bit ago, honestly, for Adnan. Staying right underneath Heroder. Oh, but the car washes out. Not going to be close enough for an attack down into Moss Hairpin. They got to watch out because not too far behind them, Plumley's giving watch. He could get into this mix if they start battling side by side. But off the Moss Hairpin, Barry West was close towards the front half of the course, but the back half of the course seems to not be as strong for him. And Unhola, oh, did he have more problems? This is into Clayton. Oh, inside, touched the grass. Wow, the Finn got lucky. That car stopped before the barriers.
Yeah, he just was able to do a 360 and keep going, but definitely not on his rhythm today.
Ooh, in second place, Matt Wood has now caught up to Steve Bycroft. What's been going on up here? They haven't hit any of the traffic yet, so this is down to pace. We ride on board with Steve. Looking back, he had a horrible race yesterday in the Nissan with the Camel GT Series. He's jumped over to the very similar Lotus 79, trying to see if he can get himself a podium. Matt Wood closing down the back stretch, but runs out of racetrack, but still keeps applying the pressure here halfway through the race.
Yeah, at this point, it's about just Matt just keep putting the pressure on Steve. Probably the only way he's going to get around Steve is if Steve does make a mistake. So it is very tough to just make a straight out pass without that happening.
Oh, and we got side-by-side action between Atkinson and Dizderevich, but we're going to watch the replay where this all started. Atkinson there in the dark-colored car, the orange machine. Orange-yellow is Adnan. Oh, and it was lap traffic putting Adnan off, but Adnan is really on the ball. He just set up that final corner, got himself side by side, but it was going to be all for naught because it looks like Atkinson was able to fend him off.
Yeah, even though he did get kind of bogged down for turn 5B, he did square it up really well and got a good run. So he'll be right there in position, try to get that place back.
Ooh, can we go up to 5th? Because Nicola Cochi has caught back onto Sergio Fernandez. He was awful close up to turn 8, but couldn't do anything with it. I think we're getting ready to see round 2 between these two.
Yeah, that was where they had their incident in lap 1. Was lap 1 or 2 in turn 8. But yeah, Nicola's about 2/10 faster than him, and he's just kind of crept up, and now he's going to have another chance to get.
Seems to not be as fast here in the twisty sections, but up the backstretch, he was reeling him in. Wonder if he's got a little less wing on that car.
Yeah, he might have a little less wing. Plus, you can see damage on Sergio's car. But it is a high-speed track, but you're going to suffer when you're behind somebody. So it's just a matter of timing it just right. And here he goes up the front or the back straightaway. See if he can suck back up to him.
Oh, I can already see he's starting to close, but you saw how far back he was at the hairpin. It's a huge head of steam, though. Is Sergio going to defend? He's going to stay to the outside. Slingshot past Nicola Cochi. P5 with ease.
It almost looked like Sergio was being a little nicer and kind of giving him the spot that he took away from him earlier.
Yeah, there is a sense of sportsmanship very heavily running through these drivers in a lot of the vintage series. I think the difficulty in driving these older cars tends to cause fair play to really enter into the minds of many of them. We watch from onboard Fernandez looking ahead at Cochi as he pulls away a little bit. We haven't missed anything in the other battles we were watching. Bycroft is still ahead of Wood in 2nd place. Rotor, though, has got Barry West relatively close behind him. That was Norlampi that we saw on screen for a moment, still leading by now about 9 seconds over Bycroft.
We got John Atkinson right under on the gearbox of Daniel Banker as they head down the hill towards Moss Corner. And he is really close. Yeah, I mean, he can't get much closer without hitting him. So this is where he's got to get that drive. And he's close enough if he can just kind of just get his momentum going, or he'll be able to make a move either on the inside or outside of turn 8.
I tell you what, it may have been lap traffic that allowed Atkinson by Adden, but he's left him in the dust and clearly on a charge. Banker not fending off the inside. Atkinson tries to take it away. Banker gives him space. It is just not meant to be, though.
Yeah, you're almost better off giving him the inside of 8 because 9 is a little tighter and you have the inside for that corner. So sometimes that's the smarter move.
This is all for 12th place that we're watching between these two. Up through Clayton Corner. John Atkinson now slots back into line, trying to set him up. The number 10 car started this race 13th, looks down to the inside of Quebec, wheel-to-wheel action. It's now going to be a drag race down to Moss Corner, the inside to Atkinson, but it looks like Banker gives up the ghost before they even get there.
Yeah, that corner, that left-hander is a little tighter than it looks, and it's real easy to cause an accident, so sometimes you're just better off giving them the spot and then try to get them back as they come up the Mario Andretti straight.
Right on board with Dizdarevich. And he's not going to be able to take advantage of that action. But still, we've been watching some great stuff in the mid-pack. This was all for 12th, 13th, and 14th. 12th belonging to Atkinson, now Banker 13th, Dizdarevich 14th. For fans of Tom Unhola, I can report he's up to 21st now. Still not making as much progress as I'm sure he'd like. He's actually gaining on Herner in 20th, about a half a second splitting them.
He's got the leader coming up behind him. He's only about, looks like...
he's by.
He's already gone by, yep.
Yeah, Norlampi already lapping the field, and he's pulled that gap over Bycroft, so that should certainly help him have to deal with the slower cars. There in the background, we saw Unhola had a little bit of a look on Herner, but couldn't do anything with it through turns 1 and 2. Certainly poking his nose in here and there. Now down towards 4. Ooh, he's very strong coming down towards this corner. Going to take another look to the inside of Moss hairpin, but nothing doing for the Finn. Maybe try to set him up. Oh, a lot of wheel spin. Tommy just does not look like you said, like he's on his game today. This is unusual.
Yeah, he just seems a little out of rhythm. Just a couple mistakes here and there. Just can't quite put it together because we know he's fast enough to run up front.
Certainly eager to try and get himself into the top 20. Still nothing doing through 8 and 9. Saw him take a poke out of this corner. This is a very good run, but a defensive move from Herner. He's going to make him work for it. He'll try the outside. Can he stay out of the marbles and find the grip and the gray stuff? Somehow he does. Great stuff from Unhola. And Morales is still out here. That's Morales, the yellow car that you see trying to get out of the way. Doesn't cause a change in position. I'm not sure why Sergio's still running this car. Oh, and Peter Koneski from 4th place. Clayton Corner, another victim.
Yep, just kind of got on the inside grass and just did a little tank slapper. That's where his teammate went off on lap 1, so not a good day for their Martini Lotus team.
Sad to see. He turns it back around, tries to get going, but eventually has to take a tow into the pits. So that promotes Nicola Kochi up to 4th, but he's a ways behind Matt Wood. Fernandez now into the top 5.
I've been keeping an eye on that Steve Bycroft and Matt Wood battle. Matt's kind of close enough, but not close enough. They keep going through lap traffic, but he's not able to get close enough to make a move, but he's close enough probably to keep Steve a little bit honest.
Yeah, Bycroft definitely looking more in his mirrors than he is ahead to Norlampi. Just doesn't have anything for him as he comes up to turn 4. You were talking about how hairy this corner could be. I tell you what, if you want a scary ride, take the other Lotus out here, Richie, the 49. Just this whole track it'll put the fear of God in you.
It's almost like a drift track for that car.
Yeah.
Norlampi's doing it great. I'm just going to give a shout out to Norlampi. He's doing a great job. He's 10.5 seconds ahead of Steve. He's running good. He's in the 107s, and he's just kind of doing his thing. So nicely done for him.
Yeah, the Preacher got himself out there just rifling off laps. Another fastest one up at the top of the screen. That one a 107.8 for Yuha. Let's jump back to Barry West. He's also been promoted due to the problems for Koneski. He's now up to 8th, but he's continuing to hound Dustin Heroder. Not been able to do anything with him. Stayed within a second of the number 9 car. The DH driver certainly should be commended as well with the way he's been dealing with Barry, just staying right there in the tire tracks all race long.
Yeah, he's been right in Dustin's mirror, but it seems like Dustin maybe have a little bit less downforce as Barry is able to close in on these corners.
Sorry, we've had a big problem. Dizdarevich and Banker both tumbled into the wall.
And Dustin.
Oh, we're going to watch the replay of Heroder. I just looked away as Dustin finds Clayton Corner a little bit too difficult.
Yeah, Dustin just got a little bit loose over the top of the hill and overcorrected and sent himself into the guardrail. As he sees corrects, and there it goes, and his race is done. So promote Barry West up one more spot.
So it was Banker and Dizdarevich who came together in turn 8. They were wheel to wheel. Adnan already apologizing. He tried to come down to the apex, you'll see here, but there was still a car there.
Yeah, he kind of squeezed them down and paid the price for it. They could have easily gone through there side by side, and he would have had the position for turn 9. So just a little impatient.
Banker is able to get the car going, but he's now down in 15th. Probably has a little damage, a little touch with the tires, but otherwise seems like he's able to get it running once more. Had head to the pits, and I think he's going to try and get out there, recover whatever points and safety rating he can. Still lots of racing left here in round 5 at Motorsport, and we've seen plenty of action. But those last 2 accidents actually stole from us some of the closest battles we had on track.
Yeah, I just kind of scrolled through everybody, and there's really not much going on except for the closest battles are when just lap cars involved. So just kind of just keep an eye on everything. Once again, Matt Wood fallen back a little bit from Steve Bycroft, so that battle's died down a little bit.
What this is doing, all this attrition has allowed a few unfamiliar names up in very dizzying heights. Tony Teolis, he started this race 18th. He's actually rated number 19 by iRating, and he's in P9. Up ahead of him is actually Robert Plumley, so he still could get yet another position, depending on how feisty he feels.
Yeah, it has been other people's misfortune has been good for some others.
This whole weekend has been, attrition's been the key word. We watched a lot of cars fall by the wayside at Bathurst in the Lotus 49, then in the MX-5 World Tour that nearly half the field was lost as well there. And I see out of our 28 starters, we only have 20 left running, and still nearly half the race to go. Watching Teolis continue to try to see if he can run down the number 16 of Robert Plumley as they head through turn 8 into turn 9.
Yeah, Noah Lampe's just kind of blazing through the field. He's lapped all the way up to 12th spot or 13th spot. Robert Simpkins' next car on his list, and he's only about half a straightaway behind him. The battle on screen is probably the closest battle we have at the moment between Plumley and Teolis.
I tell you what, though, we've been following Unhola's progress on his recovery drive. Well, he's gained a bunch of spots recently. He's now up to 16th and make that 15th soon. That's Steve Sarles just ahead of him. After that, he's going to have another 9 seconds, though, to try and catch up to Timothy Reed, so it might be a little bit of a lull for the Finn. You can see from the gearbox the number 4 getting very large, but not brave enough to try it in turn 1.
Wow, he is right on the back. Oh, I thought he was going to try to make a move on the inside of turn 2 there. That's not the best space. We may try to go around the outside. If he can do that, the next corner is going to be his, and it does look like he's going to force his way through and causes Steve to kind of make a little adjustment to keep from hitting him.
Steve manages to keep it on the black stuff, though, but Tommy Unhola hanging it out high, wide, and handsome, and Clayton Corner gives him the spot up to P15. Meanwhile, second place, just ahead of these drivers on track, Steve Bycroft finds Matt Wood, has closed in the gap once again. This has been yo-yoing back and forth. Wood, up to 1.5 seconds at times, has chopped it back down to 0.6, and he certainly seems like he wants to try and get himself up one spot where he started on the grid.
Yeah, once they got through the lap traffic and got some clean laps, he's able to close back in, but it just seems like he just can't get any closer than he is right now. So however their setups are working, he's really feeling the effect of the dirty air, and he just can't quite get there to make that move.
As we ride on board with Wood, the UKNI driver has been one of those drivers who's improved season after season. And at this point, sometimes I forget that he used to be more of a mid-packer in this scene. At this point, typically fighting for podium positions and potentially even a championship, depending on how things could sway. Again, we don't have one of our major players here. Gernot Frisch has elected not to show. And though he could still earn points in other races during the week, this is essentially the SOF race, the highest points available. Meanwhile, down in 11th, Glenn Corrigan, who we've seen in some action, and Robert Simpkin as well, who we've watched make some good passes, have another little battle happening. Simpkins try to look around the outside through Quebec, but that doesn't quite work. Corrigan tracking out of that corner and now swinging back through 4 as they now break. Ooh, early defense from Corrigan. He definitely feels under threat.
I checked him up there going into 5A. Simpkins doing a good job trying to get that momentum. He's definitely in the draft, so if he can just stay with it, he might be able to make a move as we enter that corner or turn 8, either the outside or the inside.
I love these over-the-shoulder shots where you can really see the simplicity of the cockpit of these old cars and also the hands working the wheel. Corrigan still holding ahead of Simpkins as they work through the S's onto the front stretch. Simpkins get oh so close and then up into the corners. The aero wash from the car ahead just seems to deny him each time. Plunging through Clayton, now down towards Quebec. This is where we saw him have a look around the outside last lap. He's not close enough this time through. Corrigan clearly responding. The first car is actually a lap down, just behind our leader, Nora Lompy.
Yeah, all the way up to almost got to start lapping into the top. Nicely done. We got 9 laps to go, so he into that top 10 a few more spots.
Atkinson, the next one that he's going to try and lap as we stay on this battle with the two of Corrigan and Simpkins.
Yeah, not much going on in the top 8 or 9. Everybody's even amount, so this is the best battle on the track to watch right now.
You know, I was thinking that it would take a while for Unhola to chase down Reed, but he's proving me wrong. He's already got it down to 2.5 seconds less than that now to get up to 14th. Unhola really looking lightning fast late in the race. And once he gets by Reed, the pace that he's showing, there's only 3 more seconds up to Beatty. I'm wondering how far he can go. I'm thinking potentially he could catch Simpkins and Corrigan.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his, he's almost 2 seconds a lap faster than the 4 cars in front of us. So at least on the last lap. So he really found his groove.
So why don't we give a watch to the chase that Unhola is giving on Reed as he continues to run him down. Let's watch from on board and see what it's like from this fast fin. Just caught him with a snap of a finger. Reed still ahead, but for how long? You could see how big on the screen as we rode on board that Timothy was getting in the windscreen of Unhola. Now they come around turn 5. All it's going to take is a good run or maybe a mistake as Timothy Reed makes it easy for Tommy to get up to P14.
Yeah, I'm sure he was watching his mirrors there and seeing Unhola how aggressive he was being and just kind of missed his braking a little. So move Unhola up 1 more spot. That battle with Glenn Corrigan, Robert Simpkins has not stopped. I've been watching it. Nothing's happened, but man, Robert is trying everything he can to get by him.
Yeah, he's certainly staying with him. That was Morales you saw stopped at the pit exit. Not sure what he's holding up there, but certainly staying out of everybody's way. Simpkins in the black car. The white Williams that you see, that is Glenn Corrigan holding down 11th in the number 17. We're down to 6 laps to go. The race is starting to come to a close. We've still got roughly 19 cars running out on track.
Yeah, and Nualampi's going around John Atkinson at the moment and put him into the lapping all the way up to 10th spot.
After some disappointing races for Nora Lampi recently, Imola didn't go well for him. Obviously had a disappointment at England over in Donington. But today, if he can just make it 5 more laps, he's got a nearly 17-second lead over Steve Bycroft. He's been weaving through the traffic like it's butter, and I think this is his to lose.
Yeah, he had a disappointing race at Donington, not his doing. Right at the end, just taken out by a lap car. He was not happy about that, so this will be a good fix for that disappointment lap.
And something, Simpkins apparently having a little trouble staying with Corrigan. Wonder if it's it is lap traffic, actually. Bycroft just went between them. So that maybe is what caused the gap to go up. You can see that is Bycroft in the Renault. He's going to be able to lap the Williams here as long as Corrigan gives him a little help and lets him by. There he goes. Tiny lift, which actually is going to help Simpkins gain back that time that he lost, just as he loses it to Matt Wood coming through.
Yeah, Matt Wood just kind of sent it on the inside, and so it's all kind of evened out a little bit. Yeah, these 2 cars racing for 10th and 11th and 12th, racing hard with the guys that are running for 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, Matt Wood is obviously trying to stay up with Bycroft. He's got about 2 seconds up to him, but he's running out of laps to try and make something happen. He really has to use this lap traffic, if anything, to try and get by.
Yeah, I just don't think Matt Wood's fast enough. He's fast enough to get within a half a second or so, but that's about it. That's what we've just kind of seen, this yo-yo back and forth. So Steve's doing a good job withstanding the pressure, looking to have a good result.
And that brings us back to the closest battle becoming between Corrigan and Simpkins for 11th. Simpkins actually very close as we ride on the nose, just looking over the suspension. Corrigan giving him the slipstream once again, but I don't think he's quite close enough once they come up to turn 11 here.
He gets close right at the wrong time here, and it's just almost too late, but he is trying. Boy, he is right on the back. If Glenn Corrigan makes any mistake, Simpkins is going to get that position. Ooh. Oh, no!
Keeps it out of the wall, but Robert Simpkins, unfortunately, was his own undoing. Can we get an onboard on this one? Simpkins, as we were on board, I was looking over at my screen at the time, fishtailing down the front stretch and eventually finds himself back onto the track. Doesn't lose a spot. John Beatty caught up to him. But with Simpkins' pace, I'm sure he won't have to worry too much. Unfortunately, probably going to be kicking himself for missing out on a chance to try and get by Corrigan.
Yeah, he just got on the gas really hard. Oh, we got somebody going off in 5B. I don't know who that.
That was Nicola Kochi. Oh, that actually, is that for position? Because Fernandez is going to go by down the backstretch, or at least he's going to try. They're going to be wheel to wheel, almost coming together. Momentum goes back to Kochi now. He's got the outside through turn 8, but he's fully a car length ahead. That got awful tight.
Yeah, that was almost a replay of what we had on the first lap. So Nicola Kochi making a mistake, but given that opportunity to Sergio Fernandez, but Nicola Kochi able to hold on for that 4th spot at the moment.
Well, you saw in the replay clip that first apex curb, car bounced and then there was just not enough grip. So as we come back live, That puts Sergio certainly within reaching distance of Kochi to try to get up to P4. He's hounding him for these final couple laps. And the question is, can he do anything with the Italian? These two have certainly built a little bit of a rivalry today. So, white flag is out for Norlampi. This has been practically a cruise for the Finn. And something happened to John Stevens. Not sure. We'll get back to that later. The number 1 car, put it on the pole. He's led every lap. He's extended the gap over the field to where nobody could touch him today. So as he climbs up the Andretti straight, up into turn 8. He's got a little bit of lap traffic in the form of Herner in front of him. Not sure if he'll even bother to try and pass him. Norlampi through the final corner is going to take victory here today in round 5 at Motorsport. Matt Wood is not going to catch Bycroft. There's about 2 seconds between them. And Kochi's lost out. Kochi's got some traffic. Oh, this is going to get tight. Almost 3 wide there. That's Adnan that they're going by.
They're going back and forth here up the straightaway one more time. Kochi's got the advantage, but Sergio is going to look, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there as they come through turns 9 and 10. Oh, he's right on the back of them.
So close, but so far away. That's going to be Bycroft second, Wood third, Kochi fourth, and Fernandez rounding out your top 5. So few cars are on the lead lap. Barry West is our last driver to finish here on the lead lap in 6th. Great job by him, but it's going to take us to break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews, but stick around because on screen you can see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, most known to race fans as Mosport. The win today went very much so to Juha Norlampi. There was almost no doubt all race long about who was going to come away with this one. Bycroft was 19.8 seconds behind at the line, but still took second place. That's a good haul of points for Steve and a much better finish than what we saw yesterday for him. Matt Wood tried to take it away, but still got a podium in P3. In fact, all three of those drivers finished where they started. Nicola Kochi, though, jumped up from 6th to 4th with a nice battle at the end with Sergio Fernandez. Those two made contact, but there was no hard feelings. It looked like they were congratulating each other on a good battle after the race. Barry West, how about this? 17th on the grid, 6th at the finish line. What a climb. In the last car in the lead lap, Tony Teolis takes 7th, and Robert Plumley finishes 8th. John Atkinson Jr. Finishes P9. Glenn Corrigan as well with a good climb going from 20th to 10th. Richie?
Yeah, Robert Sinkins come home 11th with a great battle with Glenn Corrigan all race long. John Beatty Jr. 12th. Timothy Reed 13th. Todd Herner 14th. John Stevens, unfortunately, was running in the top 6. I think it was 6th at the time, but had a self-spin with like 2 laps to go. It drops him down to 15th. I'm sure he's not happy about that. Tommy Unhola struggled a little bit early on, but made his way back up to 16th. Just an up-and-down race for him. David Burgess in 17th, Francisco Javier Gutierrez in 18th, Adnan Dezervik in 19th, and Steve Sarlis in 20th.
Then you start to get into the DNFs today. Daniel Banker, 21st, Dustin Rota, 22nd. Peter Koneski, that's disappointing, 4th on the grid, and he'll have to settle for 23rd. Sergio Morales, 24th. Pablo Suarez, 25th, and Darrell Warwick, 26th. Last 2 cars was Adam Fraser, 27th, and Rodrigo Capoleto, both of them having trouble on the very first lap, rounding out our field. First driver we're going to talk to, though, is our winner, Juha Norlampi. After a few disappointing races on the broadcast, Juha bounces back in definitive fashion. What a win, Juha. There was just nobody nearby you.
Yeah, I have been quite unlucky and some difficulties in last races and some odd things happened. But, well, this one was fun and very easy to race. And I like this Mosport track, and I have a very good setup here. And I was missing Gernot and would like to have a good battle with him. But, well, sometimes it goes easy. But this could have been more points. This wasn't no good for points view.
What do you attribute such a big gap at the line to? Do you think it's just pure pace, or do you think you were better in lap traffic, or is it maybe down to setup?
Well, I think that setup is very crucial with this car, and you can make a few tenths with a good setup if you are an equal racer. But well, it's very difficult to know when you have a good setup, because one setup for one track is not the same at the other track, because those tracks are very dependent on how you make your setup and how you drive your car. But I think this time I was superior with my pace, and I will look at those lap times. I was over half a second per lap faster almost all the time.
Clearly someone to watch out for anytime anybody hops into this car. Speaking of which, though, we always see you here in the Lotus 79s. Is there any other series that you tend to run in, or is this the only one that you find the time and energy for?
Well, I was first at the Skippies because it was a easier car to drive when I was sick with that chronic fatigue syndrome. I was so weak, I got weak condition that I couldn't drive anymore. Laps at 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and after I get a little bit better and got more talented, I jump up to this car, and I noticed that I could make some races during the week and practice little when I was very sick. But after I get healed, and now I can race any car, but I don't have time and interest to try many cars. I just take it easy.
Sometimes you just got to enjoy yourself. Well, congratulations. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this victory, sir.
Thank you, Joe, and God bless you guys. Bye.
That was Juha Norlampi, the preacher, finishing first in the #1 car. Up next, Richie's caught up with a driver we saw quite a bit of on screen, Nicola Kochi.
Yeah, Nicola, you got a copy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. And great job. A little action there on the first lap with Sergio Fernandez. Looks like you guys, no harm, no foul, but you had to really fight to get back up there to get back into that top 4 position.
Yeah, that incident on the first lap screwed a little bit my plan for the race, but luckily I had no damage, so I was able to fight back. And I think that Sergio had a little bit of damage on his front wing. Even if I was very behind compared to him, I think that I had a slight advantage to catch him and to pass him, and this happened. And the last few laps was quite exciting one.
Yeah, I was watching the lap times a little bit, and you were like 2/10 faster than him, so you just steadily got by him, and then you got by him, and then all of a sudden the lap traffic kind of got in the way, and then it became a race again, right, with the last couple laps.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Unfortunately, I had in the worst spot possible the last few laps with lapped cars, and I lost so much time, even before the last and the last 2 laps. I think that the last 5 laps I lost something like, I don't know, 2 seconds or more because of that. But I had quite a decent lead, so I wasn't too worried about. But on the hairpin, I did a mistake that I completely vanished all my advantage there, and I had to fight to stick with the first position. And it was quite an enjoyable race, even if it was a little nerve-wracking. And I thank Sergio for battle fair. Even if on the first lap we had some kind of roughing our feathers.
Well, you definitely made it exciting for us to call, especially there at the end. And sometimes those are the more satisfying races to have battles like that. So congratulations on that top 5, and hopefully we'll see you next Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to be there. Bye-bye.
That was 4th place finisher Nicola Kochi. Up next, we've got 6th place Barry West, who started well back in the field in 17th. Barry, from what we saw of you, it seemed like today was keep the car safe while everybody falls by the wayside. Is that a fair assessment?
I was pushing. No, I was really pushing. I'm not very fast here, but I can be fairly consistent. Just come off the back of a really good result in the previous race. And I don't know, I just seem to be able to stay on this track, but other people seem to have trouble. Perhaps it's because I'm not fast enough and don't push enough, but I think I should have qualified. I aborted the second qualifying lap because I overcooked turn 2. So I stuck race fuel in and did a qualifying lap with race fuel. So I got used to the conditions, which really helped, I think. So I was really confident at the start. I managed to get quite a few places in the first few laps, and then I come up behind Robert Plumley, who I did force an issue on him, which was a bit rude, but he kindly gave me enough space. And then I was up on the back of Dustin. I had a real dust up with Dustin again. The previous race, we finished the other way around. He was pushing me all the time, and I managed to hold on to the end. But this time I was pushing him. I think we were quite evenly matched. I think if we had clean air, I think I was perhaps a little bit quicker, but just not enough to get past him. And such a good position, I didn't want to risk it. So I don't know what happened to him, but he seemed to, on my screen, he just twitched going through turn 2, and I assumed he went off into the barriers. He just had a snap oversteer moment as he went over the crest. So I don't know what happened to him, but that was a pity, really, because that was shaping up to be a good little ding dong for the end. And then on the last lap, I think John Stevens had a problem. So yeah, it was most appreciated. I mean, I didn't put a foot wrong, really, apart from qualifying.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we were talking about Richie and I before the race how this track can be a little bit scary, especially with this combination of car. Is there any particular portion of the lap around here that really rattles you, or do you really feel comfortable?
I really feel comfortable around this track. I mean, first win on this track. I really love the track. Where I am slow, it's difficult. It's frustrating trying to get the power down coming out of the second Moss. So the wider you can take it in one big arc, the better it is. But of course, if you take it too wide, you just touch the grass and you're off. So that's the frustrating bit. So it's knowing to be how far to push it. And I think during qualifying, I just wasn't pushing enough, and I haven't learned the full limits of the track really. But I stay within the track, so I think that's just being consistent. But I don't know what happened to Peter Canessi as well. He had a brilliant qualifying, and I don't know what happened to him. I expected him to be in front, but he must have had an issue. But yeah, I think it's a lovely track, and when you get told that the temperature's dropping, you know you can push it a bit more, and you get less understeer. So it gives you a little bit. Well, gives me a little bit of confidence. But yeah, it's good not to be lapped by you out at the end as well.
Yep, you were the last one to make it home. Well, congratulations on a top 6. You certainly impressed us out there today.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers, guys.
That was Barry West, P6 in the number 12 car. And up next, real quick, Richie is going to talk to Tommy Unahola, who had a mysterious early pit stop.
Yeah, Tommy started 10th, finished 16th. I'm sure you're not happy about it, but we kind of missed that early pit stop. What was the reason for that?
Oh yeah, I actually want to thank Fanatec for that, as they make worst potential meters I know, and yeah, it was a clutch pedal problem, and I had actually throttle problem also. That was not so bad, so hopefully it will be fine. But yeah, I got just a little failed start and moved a bit, and I thought it was nothing, but it's kind of easy to take it, it seems, and I took it on first lap, so it was kind of lonely after that. I broke a curtain on the bump, or I hit the grass maybe, and it was kind of boring after that.
Well, we kind of watched your progression up through the field, and I mean, like I said, you were in the back up to 16th. Probably not happy with that, but he made it exciting on the show, as you were pretty aggressive with some of those guys.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't always mean to do that, and I forgot a couple of names, but I think it was Steve who I overtook, maybe a bit stupidly. I'm not sure why I did that, but luckily we didn't hit, and then I actually don't remember so well. I think I have to see it again, but I think it was also Nicola when I was saving my car. I tried to put it in the side, so hopefully he didn't lose much time. And yeah, I'm not sure what else happened, as my car was a bit broken, or maybe not. So it was very hard to drive, and I was battling more cars than drivers, I think.
Well, we're glad you were able to continue on, and sometimes we have those days, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully it will be a bit better, and it was fun today, so that's good also. So see you guys later.
Thank you, Tommy.
That was Tommy Unhola, who had to have a bit of a recovery drive. And next we've got Peter Kaneski, who unfortunately had the reverse today. Peter, you qualified well, you were looking good, and then unfortunately it all came to naught. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened? Peter, do you have a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we got you.
Alrighty. Yeah, this was really unfortunate. I seem to have a good pace this season, and particularly at Moss here, it was really, I was shocked to be starting from fourth place. It was kind of new, but Adam, my teammate, and I have been working on the setups, and it seems to be working fine for us. And it's just, I just lost it. I almost never lost it in that turn, and I just focused on the back marker too much and just missed it.
Yeah, we were sad to see you fall by the wayside that late in the race, obviously. But can you take anything from this going forward to Zandvoort, or any lessons learned, or do you feel confident heading over to there?
Well, I never feel confident about anything, but it seems like this season the car has been really working well for me, and I hope to continue that next week. And too bad we looks like as a team we have a really nice opportunity to be on the podium, but weekends like this one are not going to help us. So hopefully we can put it together a lot better next time.
One last one before we let you go, because I always feel like I'm getting it wrong. How should we pronounce your last name?
And I always say to everybody, don't hurt yourself, because it's Konieczny.
Konieczny. Is that close?
Or just call me Peter K.
Peter K. I like that. All right. We're good with nicknames here. Well, commiserations for today, and hopefully we'll see you with better reasons after Zandvoort next week.
Thank you very much. Great job, guys.
Peter K. there, finishing for 23rd. And that's going to close us up today, of course. And we want to give a thank you to the Lotus 79 community for bringing us back for another season of coverage here on GSRC. And a thanks goes out to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast, listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjed, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Make sure you head over to the GSRC YouTube page. We've got a big red subscribe button that you need to make sure and hit so that you don't miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. As we mentioned, heading over to the Netherlands, to Zandvoort. That'll be April 21st at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.